Joining us now is Nancy Jones. Welcome to the show, Nancy. How are you?
Well, thank you for having me. And as you know, I am the wife and widow of George Jones of 30 years. And we were
Well,
together 32 years, but for 30 years we were married.
now I want to know, is it true that you met on a blind date?
Yeah.
I would love to
Yeah.
know.
And then the rest was history.
So who was that? What was that first date like, and why did he make your heart go pitter pat?
Well, the first date was absolutely wonderful because he opened up his heart and told me things I think he's never told anybody. And I think it really made him feel good to be able to say, be able to talk to somebody that would listen to him. And I did. And we talked all night long. And I've just never met anyone that was so sweet and so kind. And then, then I wrote a book. And the book really told a lot of stuff that I didn't sugarcoat anything. I told the truth on everything in there. And I did die of COVID. And in COVID, I was in the hospital for like 3 to 6 months in intensive care. And I lost all my hair and I couldn't sit up, or I lost all the muscles in my legs and my arms and 70% of my lung. But God, he brought me back to life, and I wrote this book, and it does tell a lot of how we met and everything that went on between me and George.
Well, still playing possum, right?
Yes,
Still
and you
playing
can get it
possum.
on Amazon. It's playing possum. My memories of George Jones.
There you go. There you go. You know, what's so sweet too is that, just because somebody does go through trials or tribulations or challenges, Nancy, isn't a reason not to love somebody, right? Love,
Well,
you know, love is
love and
love.
God will bring you through anything. Yes.
What was one special memory of George that you carry around with you in your heart every day? Was it like the way he said good morning, or the way he smiled and his eyes twinkled? What is like that special moment, between the two of you, if you wouldn't mind sharing it, that just warms
I
your heart
think
every day?
everything, because I've never met anyone that was so much different than he was. He, first of all, he didn't have enough confidence in himself to really think that he could walk on the stage and sing a song. And my God, he was just an icon. He was wonderful, but he didn't have that confidence. So it was something that we really worked on to convince him that you didn't have to have a drink or whatever to get out there and sing a song. So, like I said, that's in the book too, and people will enjoy to see how the journey we went through to change him and also to change myself. But he was such a kind man and a man that I wanted to get to heaven, and I think that was one thing that God put me on this earth for. I really do, is to change George, to give him a longer life, let him be able to enjoy life, because he was such a good man, but he had a hard way of growing up and had too many demons in him. But you know what? We whipped him.
Absolutely. I love that too about the country way. I grew up in St. Louis, and there's something that's so, I guess, authentic and real about country music, because you talk about those things. You talk about, trucks and things and women and things that happen and walls and demons, and I believe music heals people. I think music helps people. So even though George also struggled, I think it made him almost like, in a way, like a friend to those that were his fans, because they knew when he got up there, he was singing from his heart and performing like from his soul. And I think that's one of the reasons that everyone loves George Jones, right? Is that
Well,
you
he was a
believe,
ballad.
yes.
Yeah, he was a ballad singer. And that's what he loved more than anything in the world, was to sing those ballads, because he used to say, they everyday life, people go through this. They, walk through this world. They do these kind of things. And that was what he was about, was to sing country ballads. And I don't think I've ever in my life knew of anyone that loved country music as much as George Jones did. He lived, ate, and breathed country music.
I was excited when I found out that I was going to be able to speak with you. My first car had an AM radio, and I listened, it only had a country station. So I listened to it all the time. I loved it. And on the school bus in high school, we'd be singing country music on the school bus. And I've always been a big fan. So I was really excited to learn that we're going to spend some time together today talking. Now, tell us also about what's happening right now around March, the Lost Nashville Sessions. Tell us about that.
Well, this is 16 songs on here. And what you're going to hear, you're going to say, well, I've heard that song before. No, you have heard these songs before, but not the way that George is singing them. What happens with the Nashville sessions, the Lost Nashville Sessions, is that he would go to the radio stations. And back in those days, you would go and promote your album and our songs live in the radio station. You would sing that song. And this is what the Nashville session is about, is that once they got through with those songs on that radio station promoting that one song, they threw them away.
Huh.
So they were retrieved back. And then Paul Martin, which is one of the Oak Ridge Boys' son-in-law, he called me and asked me if he could put those together. Would I be happy with that, or would I agree with that? I said, well, Lord, yes. So they did this in 2013. That was right after George died. And I never heard another word. So I thought, oh, well, it's over. Then this just came out. And March the 21st is when the vinyl comes out, because I love vinyls.
Oh,
so that's
I do too.
Another thing I'm just so excited about is the vinyl and the songs that's on there, because like Window Up Above or White Lightning or She Thinks I Still Care, Grand Tour, you've heard those songs, but you've never heard them this way, because George's voice was so clear, and just you could tell he was pouring his heart out in these songs to get radio to act.
It's amazing, like you say, just those two names together, Nancy, George, Jones, it says country. It says country to everyone, right? There's a way about the people of that generation, Nancy, that kind of defined country music. I think they started, country music was always great in the South, and, maybe they had some people in the North listen or whatever, but now a lot of people love country music. And believe it or not, a lot of people are going back to the greats, and they're wanting to learn. They're wanting to understand. So even if somebody doesn't, I don't know who wouldn't know George Jones by now, but if they didn't, this is going to be a real treat for them too, because they're going to be able to hear those songs. They're going to be able to find meaning in them. They're going to have a more inspirational journey.
Well, it's so different, because you can tell that he is just really pouring his little old heart out, singing them songs like, come on, radio, I've sung really hard, now add that song. So you can tell and you can hear it. And it's just, his voice is so crisp and so clear. But they didn't mess with his voice. They did, bring the audio and stuff up to date of what's going on today, but not his voice. And that's what I love about it.
Well, it takes someone that really loved him and really cared about him to be able to make it as authentic as possible. So obviously you put that project in the right hands, right? So it's
Right.
available mid-March, right? Your book is out.
March
There's
21st.
there's many different things of ways that we can get to know you also. And you also, what's coming up next for you? Like, what are you most excited about in 2025? Well, first of all, congratulations on getting your health back. But what are you looking forward to this year?
Well, this year I got a Emmy.
Yes. Yes.
And my own personal Emmy. I'm so excited. But what it was a show that we did in Huntsville, Alabama, last year, and it had 35 artists on there. And every one of them was so sweet to come out and I'll sing a George Jones song. And whenever they said that I was up for an Emmy, I'm like, oh yeah, really? I don't think so. So I go, and then they announce the winner is George Jones playing possum. I like to jumped out of that chair. I go up there and I said, thank you, God, for giving me the courage to rock on this stage, because there's no way I could have done that. It was just amazing. Who would have thought? The competition was tough. So I never thought that I would get one of these, and I'm so excited.
Well, I'm glad you shared that with me because I do have that right here on my note card, and I was going to celebrate that. But it's even nicer,
I wasn't going to
Nancy,
let you forget.
No, but it's even nicer that you had it with you, that it's right there. So congratulations, because obviously it's well deserved. Those things are heavy, right? My friend, I don't have them they're heavy.
Donna, I can't even make a necklace out of it. I wanted to have a necklace.
I think that instead of a certificate plus the statue, that maybe they should start making little necklaces so that you could walk around with it. But
Yeah, really.
it's well deserved, and congratulations to you on your own journey and your own life. But I know that your love story was so magical and so special, and you're a good woman. You might say that George Jones is a good man, but I want to let you know that you are a good woman, and a good woman is hard to find. So nice, it was so nice to meet you. Oh, I mean it with my whole heart. So it was really sincerely nice to meet you, Nancy, because you stood by, and you stood by each other. And that's rare in this day and age. So I'm happy for you. I'm happy that you had that profound love. It's a good thing.
Donna.
You're welcome. Happy
you.
journeys to you, ma'am. It was so nice to spend this time with you. And hopefully if I'm in Nashville, maybe we'll have some hot chicken together. So nice to meet you.
Oh, please. Call me. We'll do lunch.
I would love that.
Too.
Thank you so much. All right, be well. Bye-bye. When is plastic surgery a good option? Stay tuned to find out. Joining us now is Dr. Claudia Kim, and we are going to be talking about plastic surgery, both surgical and non-surgical treatments. Welcome to the show. How are you?
Thank you so much. I'm super excited to be here.
Before we were talking here together, we were also talking a little bit about your why you decided to become a plastic surgeon. Tell us about that, please.
So from my personal history, when I was 16, I had gotten into a pretty bad car accident with significant facial trauma. And so I was a patient. And so admittedly, for about a year, I didn't look at myself in the mirror just because of my lack of self-confidence. I was just not comfortable with the way that I looked because of my facial trauma. And so for that period of time, especially in a 16-year-old's life, when appearances mean everything and everything is just, it makes you feel so small, and it was a big traumatic experience for me. And so I built on that experience to actually help other people feel more confident in their appearance.
One of the things we were talking about too is the fact that cultural features that we're born with, it might be like certain ethnicity, right? With cosmetic surgery or non-invasive surgical, we can almost look like we want to look. We can kind of maybe choose some of the structural features, right?
So that being said, just because you can change it doesn't mean necessarily that you should change it. Because I really believe that all our what we perceive as imperfections are actually what makes us very unique as an ethnic group, as like a society. And especially since we are in New York, right? We are the cultural melting pot of the world. And we really need to appreciate everyone's unique differences. And so I think, it becomes a little bit dangerous, especially with like very young individuals who can be easily influenced, that we should celebrate differences, right? And that being said, we should enhance these specific characteristics that are unique to each ethnic group. Obviously with Asian cultures, with European cultures, with, African Americans. So I think that when we perceive aesthetic medicine or cosmetic changes, we should be enhancing. We should never really obliterate certain characteristics, because I think that makes it really special.
Okay, so you're more of a person that would like to enhance someone's natural beauty.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So what are some of the techniques? Because it changes so rapidly what are some new procedures that you would like to bring to light today?
I love that you asked that question.
Okay.
Because as we see in fashion, as we see in beauty, that there are trends, right? And even in cosmetic surgery, we tend to see that there are certain trends that become popular, right? So historically, if we look at the 90s, right? The thin, very, wavy kind of look that kind of hit the market. And then you get into like the 2000s where like the curvy features became more prominent. And so currently there is a shift towards more conservative, more natural. And I think you can see it in a lot of the celebrities that are kind of getting away from, looking like you're done up, right? Because you want to be more natural.
Or like lips that hit the room before you do.
Exactly, right? So when we use aesthetic medicine or cosmetic surgery, just because it's something that can enhance you, people take it a little bit too far. Too much of a good thing is never a good thing, okay? And so we're starting to see a more conservative approaches where a lot of people are like removing the fillers, right? So the filler face or the pillow face, people are starting to kind of remove that and kind of go back to like their natural look.
Are you able to help them do that?
Oh, absolutely.
If someone has had a procedure somewhere else and it's not working, or it's drooping, or it's like, do you have to sometimes fix a face?
Yes.
You can? Okay.
Yes. And a lot of the times, because my patients know that I'm much more conservative, if there's something that I truly don't believe is a right fit for them, I have no qualms about saying no.
You'll be like,
and you know what? It's up to the patient to whether to pursue, to continue their treatments with me, or if I'm not giving them what they truly want, then they'll go find it somewhere else. But for my practice and my ideology, I think more natural and conservative is best for individuals.
Gentle and sustainable.
Exactly.
Okay. So you personally, you're beautiful,
thank
right?
you.
So whoever helped you along the way, I'm sorry that you went through that pain and that suffering, because that's very difficult. I remember
absolutely.
also in high school, we had a friend that had broke their neck and they had to walk around with a halo, and people were cruel. They're like, oh, Frankenstein, because you have to have the halo with the bolts and things like that. That's a very tender age. Those teenage years. And as we grow older, sometimes those teenage emotional scars stick with us, right? Or whether we were made fun of because of the shape of our eyes or our nose or, our teeth are crooked or whatever it is, right? I think that also is the reason that sometimes people come to you for maybe a little different look, right? So sometimes as long as it's gentle and sustainable, right? You can help someone take their natural features and look their best. What's one of the success stories that you've seen throughout your journey so far, where someone just helped them have like a different attitude or something?
So there's so many.
Okay.
Right? I think everyone deserves the right to feel comfortable in their own skin. And whether it be, another trend that I'll mention is that with the massive weight loss patients, right? So with the popularity of the weight loss medications like the semaglutides, the GLP-1s, and so we are seeing a lot of people having significant changes to their body. And so they've put in all this work. So whether you're using medications to lose the weight or you've had some kind of bariatric surgery or with just, good old diet and exercise, a lot of patients put a lot of work into this. And a lot of the times it feels like their body is not reflective of all the work that they put in. And so
their skin is hanging.
Exactly.
Right? They have like,
and so now they're healthier and now they're happier, but it's not a full, complete picture. So when these people are coming in, it's like, I've worked so hard, but it's not what I envisioned. And so for me to be able to kind of bring their final picture into light, it's just a wonderful feeling. And even, let's say, not even weight loss patients, for women who've had children, right?
Yes.
Because kids take a toll on your body.
They do. Your rib cage expands. I'm like, you're just like, what's going on?
And you never go back to where you were before. And it's you've created a miracle, right? So how many people can say that I've created a human life inside of me? You've done a miraculous thing, but then your body is kind of not the same after that. So even little things of just, helping to feel someone comfortable in their skin, it's just so gratifying. And a lot of the times you'll see, in social media that people pursue plastic surgery or cosmetic surgery to kind of enhance certain features. That's not as common as people perceive it to be.
Fixing something like
Exactly. It's more of just like feeling more confident, and it's not altering something into like this very different picture. It's about just feeling more comfortable in what you feel and what you appear in.
Thank you. That makes perfect sense. You have a lovely personality, and I know that your patients are probably really grateful that they found you, right? Dr. Kim, what advice would you give to someone that's just starting on this journey? How do they know when it's time to make a call?
Okay. A lot of times I feel like the younger generation, they're so inundated with so much information with social media that they tend to do too much. And again, too much is not always good. And so when you're in that younger generation and you're kind of experimenting, obviously start slow. And a lot of the times preventative measures or preventative medicine tends to be much better than trying to fix something that has already happened.
Okay.
Right? And so when I'm seeing these young patients and they're asking for too much, a lot of it's just step back. You're beautiful for just being young, right? And then celebrate that. And you can do, like, let's say even something like sunscreen, right? Sunscreen is huge, and a lot of people don't realize that prevention, right? Prevention of the wrinkles, and start slow if you're doing, like, let's say medical grade lasers, or you may dabble in some injectables, but don't try to do too much. You have plenty of time to get into more of the invasive measures. But if you're starting off, start off slow. And if you are kind of more experienced in this journey, obviously make sure you find a provider that understands your needs and what you're seeking to achieve, and someone who's very honest with you and saying, this is not for you, this is something that is probably not going to be attainable, but let's get somewhere where you and I will both be able to meet your needs.
Beautiful. Thank you, Dr. Kim. Thank you very much. I truly appreciate your time, your knowledge, your expertise, and just having this wonderful conversation with us. Thank you so much. I hope that you enjoyed this. We will be right back after this, but we've been visiting with Dr. Claudia Kim.
Start the new year strong with Boom Chaga. Our liquid concentrate turns any drink into your daily super drink, boosting energy, focus, and health. Make 2025 your healthiest year yet.
Are you looking for a little zen in your life? Our next guest knows how to put you in the zone. Joining us now is Billy, and we are going to be learning about massage therapy. Welcome to the show. How are you today?
Thank you so much. Good. How are you?
Good. We were just having a lot of laughs,
We
right?
were.
When the cameras start rolling, we try to be composed.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to compose myself. But being around you, it just makes it very joyful.
Thank
so
you.
what made you decide to become a massage therapist?
So I became a massage therapist because I just had a fascination for always wanting to help people. And, being a massage therapist is exactly what I do.
Okay.
I really help people feel better and help them feel more relaxed. And it really goes beyond just the Swedish massage. It really goes into, feeling better.
What is it? That's the one type that you practice, or other modalities?
Yeah, so
Okay.
I know a lot of other modalities. I do a lot of Swedish massage, but I'm more of the medical massage therapist. So I help a lot with, chronic conditions, chronic illnesses, and just kind of helping people feel better, in their lives.
What is important about knowing the meridians of the body and things of that nature? People just think that, somebody just lays down on a table and you're just anybody can do it.
Yeah,
It's not the case.
it's not the case.
Let's talk about that learning and that knowledge in order to be able to actually, be a licensed therapist.
So it's super important to understand how the body works, how the body operates, and you want to make sure that you understand the muscles, all that kind of stuff, because you don't want to hurt somebody.
Okay.
So many times people will go in and expect to get deep pressure, deep tissue massage, but they really don't know what deep tissue actually means. So educating your clients, educating people when they come in to see you is super important, because that just tells them exactly what they should be getting.
And talking about getting hurt, sometimes if you're going to a nail salon and they're like, 15 more minutes, we'll rub your back or whatever, and then you walk out of there and you're you've got great nails, but you're limping with your shoulder this way, right? Sometimes you just need to ask who is applying the therapy to you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
I mean, I know that for a lot of nail salons, a lot of different spas out there, they are allowed to do certain body parts because it's not really going in depth into the body.
Okay.
But that doesn't mean it's not equally as important to know what you're doing.
Okay. And obviously, when you're working on someone, you need to know where their spleen is, their kidney, all the different, right?
I mean, the physiology and the kinesiology part of how our bodies work is super important, because we need to make sure that we're not affecting any organs, any other muscle tissues, bones. I have a lot of clients that use foam rollers. Not a huge believer in foam rollers because they should not be going on the spine.
Okay.
But that's just my personal opinion.
Understood. Well, that's important. I mean,
Yeah.
and you have an educated opinion, so it's good
Absolutely.
that you share that with your
Yes.
clients. So tell us about your practice. Where can someone reach you? How can we?
So we are located in Portland, New Jersey.
Okay.
Our practice has an array of different services that you can come in and do. We have cryotherapy, we have body sculpting, we have a sauna, red light therapy, massage therapy. So anything that you need for wellness is exactly found at Bossa Massages and Wellness.
Let's go through that. What are some of those things?
So cryotherapy so we can do cryotherapy for body sculpting, which is shrinking the fat and bringing in the loose skin. I've also been doing a lot of cryotherapy with massage. So I have a lot of clients that come in with chronic conditions that I've been helping them with. For
Wonderful.
instance, restless leg syndrome is a huge chronic condition that people suffer from. I have
It's like when your leg twitches at night, you're laying in
Correct.
bed and it's spasming,
Absolutely.
kind of, right?
And people are not able to get a full night's sleep with that. I have 2 clients that have been coming to see me for the past 2 months that have actually been getting a decent night's sleep after I've been using cryotherapy. So also mixed with red light therapy, using infrared saunas. It's just great for people to feel better.
So, and what that's doing is it's actually like warming up the tissue underneath the skin?
For the red light
Red light?
therapy, yeah. So red light therapy helps with any kind of inflammation that we have, scar tissue. It also has a beautified factor to it by producing more collagen in the skin.
That's what I was going to ask you, because
Yeah.
sometimes I've had on dermatologists that also use red light therapy. So it can work. It's a double feature.
Absolutely.
Okay.
A lot of what we do is a double feature because
Okay.
we do, on the beauty aspect of it, but we also do it on the wellness aspect.
How important is it to hydrate before and after a massage? And what
So-
does hydration help you with?
So hydration is always, a wellness factor. Everybody should be hydrating as much as they can. But that is one of the fallacies that we hear about massage, that you need to go drink a lot of water after a massage. It's not the case. It's not going to do anything more or less for you.
Yeah, because they're always saying, no, it washes out the toxins,
No,
right?
it's a
Doesn't.
huge, huge false statement.
Drink if you're thirsty just because it's good to drink,
No,
right?
yeah, drink,
Okay.
you should always drink water, but not
Right.
because you just had a massage.
Lovely. And also, what about our skin? When we go in, we should just be cleanly showered, but don't put any lotions or potions on top of our skin,
Yeah, I mean,
right?
I always tell people that, you want to feel like you're just coming into a space where you can relax, not care what you look like, because by the time you get up from the table, you're really not going to care what you look like after that anyway.
That's true. Your face is kind of all mushed.
Yeah, it's all mushed up, and I mean, but we do, if you're spending like the day with us, we do separate the things that you're doing. So,
Okay, so you could have a whole spa day.
you could have a
there.
whole spa day at Bossa Massages and Wellness.
Wow. I was asking you because earlier before the cameras, right? Okay, I always hold my stress where I say my angel wings attach,
Yes.
but then also right above. What, is that your trapezoid muscle?
Yep, so
why do people hold stress into different places like
So we're naturally born to always shrug our shoulders when
Hmm.
we're stressed out, when we're sitting, gravity kind of takes over, and we start to, exactly. We always tend to, when we're pointed out, we always kind of bring ourselves back a little bit. But actually, our traps actually go down to our mid-back. So
Really?
people think that the traps are more prone to shoulders,
Right.
which is the case for most people. But also when you're dealing with a lot of stress in your traps, it also has to do with a lot of the front muscles as well, like your pecs.
Really?
So when I start working on pec muscles, when I have a client who comes in with trap issues, they're like, well, no, the pain is here, the pain is here. And I'm like, give it a second, let me show you. And then I educate.
Love that.
Yeah.
I really appreciate you being here
Thank you
today.
so much.
So you're not just a massage therapist, you're a massage therapist.
Yes.
Right? I love
Yes,
that.
absolutely.
You're awesome.
Thank you so
Nice to
much.
meet you, Billy.
Yes,
nice to meet you. And we're going to take 5, right? Okay, we'll be right,
Yes.
we'll be right back after I asked Billy to please rub my shoulders. Stay tuned for more. We're living it up. We hope you enjoyed this segment and maybe you learned a little something more. I know I did. I always ask my kids 3 good things about their day at our dinner table. Stay tuned. Joining us now is Marie-Claude, and we're going to be talking about chiropractic and about our table. Welcome to the show. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for having me.
Good. You know what was so interesting is I was finding out that you were French-Canadian, right? So tell us about your early beginnings there and what made you decide to go into chiropractic.
So I like the idea that the body has this ability to heal itself, and chiropractic brings that on in everyone they touch. So they bring out the power of healing in everyone they they work with.
Yeah, chiropractors sometimes get a bad reputation for people that just think that all you do is like you sit and you're like crack their bones.
Yeah.
Has nothing to really do with that, right?
Not really.
Okay.
I mean, we use the spine to influence the nervous system. So our focus is really always on bringing the nervous system function to a higher level of adaptability and resilience.
Stress. A lot of times people hold stress and they have like subluxations, which are where the ushy-gushy part of our, what's supposed to be in our spine kind of gets crunched together, right? How can chiropractic help us reduce stress by eliminating those moments of stress, I guess, from our spine?
So there's two branches of your nervous system. There's the sympathetic nervous system, which is your fight or flight, and then your resting state, which is the parasympathetic nervous system. So you need a balance between both because stress is good in a certain amount, and you also need to rest and repair. So chiropractic helps you get out of that sympathetic state where people feel always chronic stress. They have busy schedule, they have to juggle family life.
Check.
So exactly. So people like get stuck into this stressful state, and you have to get out of there to be able to repair, to be able to rest, to be able to even people who want to have kids to have good reproduction functions.
Really? That helps with reproduction as well?
Oh, yes.
Oh, I know
because
of people that are struggling with fertility. I did not know that there might be a correlation between that and chiropractic health.
Yeah, because your parasympathetic is what allows you to rest and produce hormones for normal function. So if you're in this state of stress, this kind of brings you out of there, and your body's always looking in the environment and looking for danger, and you get stuck in that state. So chiropractic adjustments kind of balances you out and helps you move better from one state to another instead of getting stuck into that sympathetic like fight or flight, which also makes a lot of physiological changes in your body, hormonal changes, and then no one wants to get stuck in there.
Now, nutrition's also important.
Yes.
At your practice. Let's talk about that because we're going to be talking about your book as well. But
Yes.
what is the connection for you between chiropractic, nutrition, and overall wellness?
So there's a chiropractic lifestyle that we say. You have to take care of your nervous system because your nervous system is the computer of your body. It controls everything, every function. But you also, once you get disadjustments and you feel better and you go back home, you also have to support your body with good nutrition and exercise.
Exercise.
Yes.
Do you have a favorite? Do you do Pilates? What do you do? What is your favorite choice of exercise?
I think as you age, like strength training is very important.
Okay.
But I think that mixing everything and whatever keeps you happy and accountable to do it is what you should do.
Lovely. And because most of us have to eat every day, at least something, right? Let's
Yes.
talk about this. Thought to table. This is
Yes.
your book. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. So I wrote this with my friends saying, you seem always organized. You know what to feed your kids. So I'm a mom of 5. So mealtime comes and those little ones want to eat. They want to know what's going on. So I wrote this as an planning book. So it's not a recipe book. It's really how to plan your meals, plan your week, organize everything that needs to be done in terms of meal prep. So that when dinner time comes, you have a plan, everything's ready, it's quick and easy, and also how to prepare a menu so that your kids see what's going on for the week. So I suggest preparing the whole menu for the week, putting it in the kitchen, get all the complaints and all the joys when they read it, and then they know what's going on. They don't ask you what's for dinner tonight. It's a Monday, that's what it's gonna be. Tuesday, that's what it's gonna be. They see their favorite meals in there and they look forward to it. And then it keeps you accountable to just say, okay, I'm ready, I got this. And it's very empowering to just not have to worry about that part of your day when you know it's already done, it's already planned, and it can be adapted to any diet, any culture. I made it very loose in the rules so that you can bring it your own and make it fit your life. I also put some highlight sections in there where you can write down some ideas, because sometimes you read a book, you close it, and you're like, oof, that was very overwhelming. There was too much information. I don't know where to start, and you put it back on the shelf. So by writing these highlight section, when you read a little part, you say, oh, I'm going to try this recipe, and you write it down.
Right.
Or I want to try this method, and you write it down. And when you go back, you just go to these highlight sections, and then you say, oh, this is what I have to tackle. These are my baby steps that I personalize throughout my reading to be able to improve my eating habits and my organization methods.
This is incredible. I mean, seriously, I've had my show for like 17 years. I think this is brilliant.
Thank you.
Absolutely brilliant. Like, you even have a chickpea cookie dough recipe,
Yes.
right? What made you come up with a chickpea cookie dough?
So I'm not a chef.
Okay.
So I get a lot of my ideas online. There's wonderful blogs and people who can inspire you right there. But I just personalize these recipes to make them healthy.
Okay.
Because healthy lifestyle is very important. I promote home cooking because if you know what's going into your food, you know what makes you thrive. And then it's an important part of staying healthy is to cook at home.
This is absolutely fantastic. And it's also good for your pocketbook, right? With 5 children, right? If you're organized and there's like less waste,
Yep.
right? This is really practical, super engaging. I love the color scheme of it. These are like my favorite colors. I was like, I just love this book. I'm really attracted to it. This is really nice because a lot of times I remember going to even school. They always come up with the school calendar of what you're eating each day, and then you decide whether you're going to buy or you're going to bring,
Yeah.
right? So it's kind of similar, but for families.
Exactly.
I used to try to make a list of, we would call it dinner at 6, and then, or I would call my mom. My mom was so great growing up. I'd always be able to say, Mom, what's for dinner? I'd be at like work, and I'd be going home to dinner. It gave me something forward to look forward to. So I like the fact that there's family input also.
Yes.
Like, this is what I would like to make. If anybody has any objections, this would be your like option B.
Yeah,
Right?
exactly.
Right.
Or there's also like how to involve kids in cooking, because even when they're little, empty the grocery bag can be like just like a little baby step into getting them in the kitchen and enjoying being in the kitchen and seeing food and seeing that food is not just brought prepared. You have to make it. You have to make it your own. You have to make it healthy. And there's a six-month menu in there where nothing repeats. It's just ideas of dinners for 6 months. So when you're like, oh, I always make meatloaf or I'll
Right.
make lasagna,
It
then you
mixes
can
it
look
up.
in there and say, oh, I can make this and this and this. So if you wanted to, not that it's the goal of the book, but if you wanted to, you could eat this something different for 6 months
And
without
it's in here.
repeating. Yes,
And it's in here. That list is in
These
here.
are just ideas. You
Oh,
can
I see
always
it.
adapt it to, like, if you want to eat gluten-free, dairy-free. These are all adaptable because these are just ideas that you can put in an engine search.
Yes.
And then it comes up with whatever preference you have for that specific recipe.
I find you fascinating.
Thank you.
No, seriously, thank you very much for being here. I wish I was your neighbor. So it's Marie-Claude Goyette.
Yes.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate you joining us and sharing all of your knowledge and your goodness. This is fantastic. There you go. You know what I'm going to be eating for the next 16 weeks of my life because it's all in here. Actually, it's like more than that. This is really, really impressive. Thank you for being here.
You're welcome.
Okay, join me on this journey. I'm going to get this book. I would like you to get this book. I want to find out what your favorite steps are that you learn. Be well. The mind is a beautiful thing. Stay tuned. Joining us now is Jacqueline, and she is the founder of Thriving Minds. Welcome to the show. How are you today?
Good. How are you doing, Donna?
Excellent. Nice to have you here. You started a practice, and it's all about mental health and awareness
Yes.
and wellness. What made you decide to start that, Jacqueline?
It made me basically when I was younger, I wanted support. So I decided to basically be that support that my younger self wanted.
Okay.
So that's what made me start Thriving Minds.
Lovely.
Yes.
Okay, so you realized that it could have helped you on your journey had somebody been there in the way that you are there for others now.
Correct.
Wonderful.
Yes.
So you went to school, and do you have like a specialty, like when you're doing something like that? I know you have letters after your name.
Yes.
Licensed social worker?
Licensed clinical social worker.
Okay.
Yes. So my specialty is depression, trauma, and anxiety. And we do eating disorder, self-esteem, and others, but those are my specialties, yes.
And you have a team that works with you.
Yes,
Who are
I
some of
do.
the people on your team?
I have 8 wonderful women who
Okay.
make Thriving Minds what it is now. They are, we're very focused in the Latinx community.
Wonderful.
So we're very bilingual to help, those people that don't speak the language. So we have a team that will help you.
That's wonderful.
Yep.
When you were coming up, you were always bilingual? So you always,
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. So when someone's having a traumatic experience, why do they sometimes not seek help? Is it because they're ashamed or?
That's it, Donna. That's
Okay.
it.
How do
it's
we help
shame.
make that be okay for them?
Well, we basically want to empower them. We want to empower them that it's okay to get help.
Okay.
Normalizing it that it's not, we don't always have to be strong, that it's okay to reach out for help, and that therapy is not what a lot of people have a stigma with it, that, oh, if, you're crazy, you're this. No, you can just go to therapy because you just stress. You can deal with some type of stress, and it's okay. You'll get the support.
Having somebody to talk to that might not be so close to the situation is also helpful, I think, right?
Yes.
Because sometimes we will tend to talk to our closest friends or a family member, but sometimes things are deeply personal where we kind of don't want to air out, as they used to say, air out our dirty laundry with someone.
Exactly.
Right? Mm-hmm. So therapy at Thriving Minds is a safe place for someone to come and be, it's all under confidentiality, right? You don't tell anyone.
don't say anything.
Exactly. So it's secure and safe and a good place for them.
And most importantly, non-judgmental.
Okay, good. Right?
You could let everything you could say, just be yourself. That's your space. For those 45 minutes or an hour, it's your space. It's your room. It's yours.
Have you seen some success stories come out of your practice?
Yes,
I'm sure that
I
you have.
have.
Yeah.
I
How does
have.
that make you feel?
It makes you almost cry.
Okay.
It makes you it makes it worth what you're doing. Like no money can pay you enough for that feeling.
When somebody comes to you and there's a very serious issue, whether it's abuse or something like that, you also have resources where you'll direct them to get help. Whether
Correct,
it's
yes.
they need a cell phone, they need a place to live,
Yes.
or I think a lot of times people also are just they're so afraid, they're stuck in it. They're
Yes.
stuck. You help people get unstuck.
Yes, we don't, and that's one thing. We don't only do therapy. It's not only you coming in for 45 minutes
Okay.
and just sitting. If you need help, resources, we'll also help you and guide you with that. We're very passionate with what we do. So it's like it's in our blood. We want to help you. So we don't only just sit there 45 minutes, tell me your whole life. No, we do get you resources if you need them, whatever is it that you need, and we can find it for you, we will.
Do you also offer, is it just one-on-one, or do you sometimes do like a group class or like a couple therapy sometimes?
We do couples therapy, yes.
Okay.
We do one-on-one and we do group. Group, we don't have any right now, but we, for the summer, we do tend to have groups.
Wonderful.
Yes.
Does the younger version of yourself feel satisfied, whole, and complete now? They're doing this?
Yes.
Do you feel?
Definitely. Yes.
I always, I speak to a lot of people and I always wonder, what made you become a butcher, a baker, or a candlestick maker?
Mm-hmm.
So thank you for sharing that with us, that it was because of a situation you had as a child that you decided you wanted to now be an advocate for others.
You're welcome.
You're awesome. You're
Thank
awesome.
you.
So Thriving Minds, Jacqueline, that's where they can find you,
Yes,
right?
Thriving Minds.
And they can make an appointment via the phone or
Via
you also do
phone.
Zoom if someone can't come to you,
We're
right?
hybrid.
Okay.
Where if you all of a sudden want to go in and then you can't go in, we can do telehealth. We also we do both.
Okay.
So we do both.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you for
Nice
having
to
me,
meet you,
Donna.
and thank you for what you do to help your community thrive. It really matters. So I'm glad you picked a profession that's like a helping and service to others profession.
Very fulfilling.
Nice to meet you, Jacqueline.
Very nice to meet you too.
Stay tuned for more. We are living it up right here. And if you are someone suffering or you know someone that is, please reach out to get help. You are never alone. Thanks for watching. With us now is Dr. Lindsay, and we're going to be talking about physical therapy and integrative health. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
You're doing well today?
Very well, thank you. How are you?
Excellent. I liked your canvas bag. I saw it in the kitchen, and it says, Breathe Eden.
Correct.
What does that mean to you, that phrase, or that name of your company?
Yeah, it means everything to me. Breathing in general is just really the foundation of life, and it's what I founded my business on. I'm a physical therapist, yoga teacher, and health coach, and just very different than traditional physical therapy, where I use the breath a lot to help people calm their nervous system and help to get them out of pain. And then Eden is life, like breathing in life and breathing in peace and joy and happiness. And it's just a vital part of healing.
You're like 3 in 1, right?
You
are
many
this,
things.
like you could pick any single one of those things and be an expert in one direction, right? But you've kind of pulled them together for your practice.
Absolutely.
Okay. So I was saying too, sometimes I forget to breathe. Sometimes I forget to eat lunch, but I ate lunch today. Okay, so we're a step ahead. So what type of breathing exercises should we be doing? And do we do them when we wake up or only when we're in distress?
No, definitely a practice daily.
Okay.
When we practice anything daily, it becomes a habit. So when we are in a state of stress, our autonomic nervous system could kick in and we could remember that breathing practice. So I would definitely suggest a daily practice. And there's so many different types of breathing practices, even just a very simple awareness of catching yourself that you're holding your breath and then taking a slow, deep breath in through your nose and a slow, deep breath out of your mouth and or nose as well. There's so many different
I was
varieties.
going to ask you, they often say breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth. How come it's not like in through your mouth and out through your nose? Or is it sometimes? Can you do that? I guess you could, right?
You can,
Okay.
but how the nervous system works, we don't want to like hyperventilate ourselves either. So you want to take it more. There's different types too. It's like if you think of more like a medical type breathing practice as opposed to yoga and pranayama. In yoga, we do a lot of breathing solely through the nose. It just keeps the energy cycle internal, as opposed to say Pilates breath, where there's exhale out of the mouth. And I don't think anything is completely right or wrong. There's so many different ways for a variety of different people and intentions. So it's really just, I think, the intention of how we're doing the breathing practice and why.
And speaking of intentions, do you feel like this type of conversation is more mainstream now? I don't remember ever growing up with it. I didn't know what my chakras were. I didn't know what color they were. I didn't know that this is my crown. I didn't know any of it, right? I was just like, oh, it's a nice rainbow. You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't understand any of that. I might have gotten so far to actually make like a dream catcher.
Yeah.
Okay? Like out of string. What is it about that conversation now that seems more mainstream?
Yeah,
more acceptable?
Thank goodness it's more mainstream, because we all know we need it.
Right.
Another reason why I got into these practices, not to go into too much detail of the turning point in my life, but I didn't have these practices as a child. None of us really did. And how different maybe our lives would be if we did. So I'm very passionate about bringing awareness, conscious breathing into our life. And I think it's been collective. I think people have realized the intense stress that has gone on in our generation, and it's really just a big need.
Yeah, it really is. It is like life is difficult, you know, or even students that are trying to study for exams, you know, they're cramming all that information in their brain, but they're not like getting into like a nice posture first. Right?
Yeah.
I took yoga in college. So I don't know.
It's amazing.
I knew the sun salutation. I knew a few things, right? I wish I could do that. I wish I could have a practice doing that. So how is it at your PT place that you're combining all of those things?
Yep, so I use traditional manual, hands-on physical therapy skills, but I also use, again, the breath practices from yoga, also some of the movement postures, and just being mindful in the movements. And I use the yoga principles as the therapeutic tool to help heal injury and pain. I work with a lot of people with stress and anxiety. I work with a lot of prenatal care and postpartum into motherhood, because as we know, mothers are very, very stressed. So that's been more in my specific niche market now. But everybody could benefit from the type of physical therapy that I practice.
I would think dads too, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. I
Sometimes
just
the
had
dad is
clients.
getting up at the 2 o'clock feeding or whatever, and it's like stressful for both parents sometimes.
Yeah, I had clients this morning that do a dual session.
They do? They come as a
Yeah, and it
couple?
was a couple. Yeah,
That's
it's
so
beautiful.
lovely.
Yeah, it's
Good
really
for you.
wonderful. Yeah.
How would you like your practice to grow? Where do you see your skill set over the next 5 years being helpful to more people?
Yeah, I'd just love to have a storefront, with my brand on the front, but more importantly, just to service my community and the surrounding areas. With this type of work, I would love, my one-on-one treatment rooms, but also a studio space where I could do more group sessions and circles and different types of classes for a lot more people.
Well, I thank you for being here, Lindsay. Dr. Lindsay, it was so nice to speak with you from Breathe Eden. And also, I don't know if my audience might have caught it at home, but like a light bulb just flickered, and I was like, oh, I don't know, we're talking about good things, maybe energies around us. But thank you so much for joining us. I really do appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome. Stay tuned for more. We've been living it up. And if you did see that light go out, make a wish. Pretend it's a shooting star. That's what I'm doing today. Be well.
Today we're in Hartford, Connecticut for That's for Entertainment's 90s Con! 90s Con! Let's go! Well, hello. It's exciting to be here with you. We were doing girl talk. We were talking about shoes, really. Heels in particular. Yes. So today's exciting. 90s Con. Have you been having a great weekend?
This is incredible. I came for the first time last year, and that was my first con ever, and was so thrilled to be invited back with my craft cast.
Yes.
And it exceeded all of my expectations, and I'm going to tell you why. Number one, getting to interact with fans of films and work and TV that I worked on 30 years ago. 25, 30 years ago, that has lived on and made an impact in people's lives it's so happy making and so meaningful to really just connect with and hear the stories around when they first saw something or who their favorite movie. So that's been incredible. And then the icing in the gravy is getting to see so many friends and coworkers that I haven't seen in like decades. So it's like we're all in this like love fest. So it's pure joy.
It is a really joyful experience. So many people are actually naming their babies now after characters of things that they saw in the 90s. And I'm like,
nostalgia.
What? It's really the best. It's so much fun.
It really is.
Podcast coming up.
Yes, so we have, David Lasher, my Hey Dude co-star, and I have been doing a podcast called Hey Dude the 90s called because of this 90s nostalgia craze. And we've had a lot of people here on the podcast, and we have just sort of like revamped and are starting to record new episodes, and it's going to be back up and running in by like end of May, early June. So for anyone who is out there listening, we are coming back because we've been getting asked a lot. And for anyone who hasn't listened and is a 90s fan, I highly recommend it because we do a lot of deep dive 90s interviews with some of your favorite actors, entertainers, musicians, and it's a blast.
Now, in being in the entertainment industry and having an entertainment family, is there a piece of memorabilia that you have that's like one of your favorite things? Old pair of pom-poms? Like, what do you have from the 90s that might still be in your house?
Well, I mean, I'm also somebody who is like taken things from sets.
Me too. It's okay. If it's going to go in the trash can, right? We are the trash can rescuers of memorabilia.
Right?
Okay, right.
Like, I still have my Average Joe's outfit from Dodgeball, even though that was like early 2000s. But my own 90s nostalgia, and this is gonna like sort of out my nerddom of being a musical theater like crazy person, but I remember in the 90s going to see Phantom of the Opera, which by the way only just recently closed on Broadway. It ran for like 40 plus years, and I had gotten like a like Phantom of the Opera music box statue that still is at my childhood home. Like, so I keep saying to my parents, like, you can't get rid of it. Like,
Right.
I have to keep that forever.
Now, is it the one that has like the monkey that's the crank?
It's
or
like,
is it a
no,
snow globe?
No, it's like underneath, but there's a phantom on top, and it's pretty creepy, to be honest. But I love it so much. So yeah.
Speaking about love, speaking about nostalgia, you have a new movie that's going to be coming up, I guess. It's called Christmas on 74th
It's
Street.
called Miracle.
Oh, Miracle
Yes,
on 74th
Miracle.
Street.
Yes, exactly. It's a little play on.
It's gone up
yes.
40 blocks. So what's happening 40 blocks north?
What's happening 40 blocks north is a sort of satire of the New York City Upper East Side scene. One of the co-writers created the show Odd Mom Out, which was a cult classic, and it was a series that was on for a bit. And she's got a hilarious sense of humor about sort of the Upper East Side of Manhattan and what women do, and it is a comedy. It's a broad comedy, and we shot that last summer. So I know it's going to hopefully be coming out this summer sometime. I don't have a date yet, but yeah, it's a lot.
Congrats. And dance moves. What is your favorite like dance move from the 90s?
I am the worst.
No, you're not. Are you really?
I'm not. I mean, I took dance lessons growing up, but the minute you ask me to just dance and move, like I never had a move. Like, did you?
I like to dance.
Like,
so
what-
here, okay,
tell
here's
me,
so okay,
like,
right,
what
here
was
we
the
go.
90s movie?
Okay, so like. Thank you for letting us stop by. I know you have a lot of fans that are waiting to talk to you.
Thank you so
I
much.
sincerely enjoyed your company.
Thank
Nice to
you.
meet you in person.
So good to meet
nice
you.
to meet you
Thank
too.
you.
Hey, living it up right here, 90s Con. Woohoo! Be well. There you go. Ooh la la, that's right. I found out through my DNA that I'm actually part French, not just Italian. I'm many things, but I'm also French. I've never been to France, but now you could come with us because we are going there in February of 2026 through Colette Tours. We're gonna be going to Carnival. We're gonna be filming the show in France. It's gonna be so much fun. So please, if you could join us for the French Riviera and a little bonus trip to Paris, now's your chance to join us. Please sign up. This is Donna Drake. Happy journeys.
Take my hand, come with me, and we'll find better ways to be something much more. Live it up, live it up, live it up now.
Thanks for watching Live It Up. You can visit us at liveituptvshow.com.